Hello everyone. I'm Mr. Kapil, Assistant Professor in the Department of English in Marri Laxman Reddy Institute of Technology and Management in Hyderabad. So today we are here to discuss about tenses and their uses in English grammar. Before we start, let's read the following sentences. I eat apple. I ate an apple. I will eat an apple, and I have eaten an apple. Observe these three sentences. Four sentences. What do you observe? That we are talking about eating some apple in different times. First one in present time, I eat apple. Second one in past time, I ate an apple. And third one, I will eat an apple in past time. In future time, and I have eaten an apple will be in recent past. I have just eaten an apple. So you might be understanding that by giving the example of these three sentences, I am talking about time when some action happens. So before we move on, we need to understand verb and forms of verb. It will be the base, the topic verb and forms of verb will be the base for the topic tenses. So what do you understand by verbs? Anyone? If you know the answer, you can tell the answer in comment section. So the topic verb. What do you mean by verb? A verb is a word of action, state of being, or possession. That means it tells three things: action, state of being, or possession. And these three things are expressed by three words: do, be, have. Keep in mind these three words. These three words we'll discuss later. It will use these three words later in our session. Before we move on to our topic, we'll understand the outline of our topic. That is, first we'll talk about definition of tenses, then their importance in grammar in our day-to-day life, and then horizontal classification of tenses. We'll be talking about classification of tenses. First one is horizontal classification, and second one is vertical classification of tenses. After that, we'll move on to helping verbs and main verbs used in different tenses. At last, we'll move on to application or uses of the tenses in sentences or in our day-to-day life, in which situation we'll be using which tense. In this session, we'll focus on these five aspects, that is definition, importance, and horizontal and vertical classification of tenses, and helping verbs, main verbs of different tenses. Last aspect, that is application or uses of all the tenses, will cover in our next session. So do not forget to catch up later in my next session. So moving on to the definition of tenses, as we have discussed in the content section, that will be discussing the definition of tenses. So what do you mean by tenses? So in grammar, tense refers to form of verb that shows the time of action or an event. So tenses allow us to convey when something happens, whether it is in the past, present, or in future. For example, I play cricket. You can see it is V1, that is first form of verb, which tells us present time. I played cricket. V2, that is second form of verb, tells about past tense. I shall play cricket. That means I'll be playing cricket in future tense. So it tells about time of action, that whether it is in present, past, or future. One more thing that you should keep in mind, that along with time, a tense tells us the state of action, whether it is completed, is continuous, or regular. For example, I am playing cricket. It is continuous action. Like I am teaching you tenses. It is continuous action. Next, I have played cricket. Recent past. Next one, which is completed action. Ram is a good boy. Now, this word is. So there is no action in this sentence, but state of being is there, that he is a good boy. Ram is a good boy. So moving on to the importance of tenses. So tenses are crucial in grammar or in our day-to-day life. Why? Because by using tenses, we can structure our sentences to express not only the time of time, but also its duration, frequency, and relationship to other events. For example, he has been playing cricket for 2 hours. Now, has been playing. The action was started in the past and was continuous up to present moment, or is still continuous. Duration is mentioned, 2 hours. So it tells us the duration of action. He often comes here. It tells us frequency. Next one, when he reached the station, the train had already left. It tells us the relationship between two actions, that when one person reached the station, when he reached the station, the train had already left. So two actions happened in this sentence, that one person is reaching the station and second, the train is leaving the station. So by using different tenses, we have established a relationship between these two events, between two actions. Next one, moving on to the divisions or classifications of tenses. There are two divisions. There will be two divisions. First one will be horizontal division and second one will be vertical division of tenses. So tense is classified into three types in terms of horizontal division. That is present, past, and future. Present tense tells us about actions happening now. Past tense tells us about actions that have already happened. In the same way, future tense tells us about actions that will happen later. So, on timeline, we can express it like this is our present time, it will be future, and it was past. So, this division of time, of tense, the horizontal division, it tells us about time of action. It does not talk about whether the action is continuous, is completed, or whatever it is. It just talk about three things: whether it is happening in present, it happened in past, or will happen in future. It talks about time, when the action happened, is happening, or will happen in the future. Moving on to vertical division. So every tense that we have read up to now in horizontal division, that is present, past, or future. Every tense is further divided into four subtypes. That is vertical division of the tenses. And those four types are simple, continuous, perfect, and a blend of continuous and perfect. That is perfect progressive or perfect continuous tense. You can also call continuous as progressive tense. So we have total 3 cross 4, 12 tenses, that is present simple tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense in case of present tense. In the same way, simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect, and past perfect continuous tense. In the same manner, in future, simple future tense, future continuous, future perfect continuous tense. So, moving on to our next and most important section in terms of tenses, that is helping verb, and main verb. So in every tense, we will be using two types of verb, which is helping verb and main verb. Helping verb tells us about tense, which tense is used, and this main verb tells us about action, the state of action. So, as you know, we have 12 tenses: present simple, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous tense. In the same way, with past simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past perfect continuous tense. We have total 12 tenses. In future also we have 4. So in simple tense, we'll be using form of do as helping verb in case of present and past. Future we will discuss later. After discussing present and past tense, we'll discuss later about the helping verbs and main verbs. Right now, I'm talking about present and past. That in simple tense, we'll be using do, simple present or simple past. Form of do will be used. In continuous tense, form of be will be used. In perfect, form of have will be used. How we will be using these three, we'll discuss. And I told you to keep these 3 words in your mind earlier also. Here is the use of these 3, that in simple tense, we'll be using form of do in as helping verb, and in continuous be will be used, form of be will be used. In perfect tense, form of have will be used. Now what about perfect continuous? As I told you, it is a blend of 2, perfect and continuous tense. So form of be and form of have, both will be used. Moving on to helping main verbs. Sir, V1 plus ing will be used in continuous tense. That is all the continuous tenses. Wherever you see the word continuous tense, you will see in 6 tenses: present continuous, past continuous, future continuous. In the same way, perfect continuous, 3 perfect continuous. So in 6 tenses you will find continuous. That means you will be using V1 plus ing as main verb. That is 4th form of verb, V1 plus ing. So what about perfect? So in every perfect tense you will be using V3, 3rd form of verb, that is participle form of past participle form of verb. What about simple? In simple, either will be using V1 or V1 plus S or ES or V2. It depends on the tense, whether it is present tense, past tense, or future tense. It will be depending on the tense, but in all the 3, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous tense, the main verb will be same throughout. That is in continuous V1 plus ing, perfect continuous V1 plus ing. In perfect, V3 will be used. What about helping verbs? The concept of these forms of do, forms of have, forms of be plus have, how we are going to use them. So moving on to present simple tense, I told you do or does, that is form of do. Forms of do will be used. In case of main verb, V1 or V1 plus S or ES will be used. So this tense, present simple tense, you'll find this word simple. You'll understand that this tense is very simple, that's why the name is simple. No, a little bit complexes are there in this tense. The helping verb do or does is used only and only in negative and interrogative sentences. In case of affirmative sentences, we are not going to use any helping verb. For example, I play cricket. Sir, this word play is the main verb. No helping verb is used in this sentence. But if I write, I do not play cricket, so do is used, helping verb is used. That means if the sentence is negative, then the helping verb will be used. In the same way, do I play cricket? Do I play cricket? Helping verb is used in the starting. My main motive of telling you all these 3 sentences was that we do not use any helping verb in present simple tense in case of affirmative sentences, but in terms of negative and interrogative sentences, we are going to use helping verbs also. Same is the case with past simple tense also. Do not think that in past simple tense we will be using any helping verb. No, we will not be using any helping verb in case of affirmative sentences. In negative and interrogative, we will use. Moving on to sir, do or does. Two helping verbs are there. You might be confused why two helping verbs are there. Where do we use do and where do we use does? So, do is used with plural form of verb. Sorry, plural subject. It is plural form of verb and will be used with plural subject. Does. It is singular form of verb and will be used with singular subject. Why it is plural form of verb and why it is singular form of verb? Because es is added. We use s or es. We add s or es to some noun to make plural of it. But we use s or es with any verb to make singular of it. That means if you find s or es in any helping verb, that helping verb is singular form of verb. Singular helping verb will be used with singular subject. This does will be used with he, she, it, or any singular noun, singular subject. With all other subject will be using do. In the same case of main verb, we'll be using V1 with plural subject. V1 plus S or ES with singular subject. Now, in case of affirmative sentences, sorry, negative and interrogative sentences, if we are using, when we are using our helping verbs, then only V1 will be used, no other form of verb will be used. We will not be using V1 plus S or ES, only V1 will be used. Moving on to our next tense, that is continuous tense. So, in present continuous tense, I told you that form of be will be used, that is am or are. All these three are present forms of be. So is s is there, so will be used with singular subject. Am only and only with I. Are with all plural subjects. Understood? In case of main verb, only V1 plus ing will be used. Moving on to perfect tense, helping verb is has or have. Has s is there, so will be used with singular subject. Have there is no s, will be used with plural subject. Moving on to perfect continuous tense. So in perfect continuous tense, present perfect continuous tense, has or have will be the base plus be will be used, right? Now we need to, as because perfect is there, in main verb we need to use V3, but in main verb we are using V1 plus ing, right? So where will we use V3? So in the form of be. Been will be used in helping verb, that is has been or have been, plus V1 plus ing. Moving on to past tense, in the same way, the past forms of do, be, have will be used in past tense. Past simple, did is there, that is the past form of do. Was were is past forms of be. Had, past form of have. In the same way we have did, was were, had, had. Was will be used with singular subject. Were will be used with plural subject. Done. Main verbs I have mentioned. If we are using helping verb did in case of negative and interrogative sentences, then V1, V2 will not be used, only V1 will be used. If we are not using helping verb in affirmative sentence, then V2 will be used in case of main verb. What about future tense? In future tense, we have two basic helping verbs, that is will or shall. In the as in continuous form of be will be used. In the same way, in future form of be will be used in future continuous tense. Form of have will be used in future perfect tense, and form of have plus be will be used in perfect continuous tense. So will, shall. Now will, shall in helping verb. So now you'll say, sir, s is there in shall and will is there in s is not there in will. Is shall a singular helping verb? Is will a plural helping verb? No, that is not the case. This s is not added to the root verb. This is the root verb. So where will we use will? Where will we use shall? So will be, shall will be used with I or we. Will be used with all other subjects. One more thing that you must keep in mind, that the use of shall in modern English is minimized, is very less. Although we are saying that with I or we will use shall, but you'll find that we are using will with I or we also. That is in informal language. In case of formal, we'll be using shall only, but we can use will in informal language. So will or shall will be helping verb in simple future tense. V1 will be the main verb. Then future continuous tense, will or shall plus be is also there. As I mentioned, but I forgot to write, or somehow it is not there. So will be or shall be will be the helping verb. V1 plus ing will be the main verb. Moving on to future perfect tense, will have or shall have will be the helping verb. V3 will be the main verb. Future perfect continuous tense, will have, shall have, been will be the helping verb, and V1 plus ing will be the main verb. So test your understanding of helping verbs and main verbs by filling the blanks by using the verb learn and different tenses in all the sentences. I blank English, you need to use helping verb and main verb. Main verb will be learn and helping verb will be used according to all the tenses mentioned in the bracket. So I have given 12 tenses, 4 of future and 8 of present and past tense. So try to fill all these blanks. Before we will be meeting soon, before we meet again in our next session. In next session, I'll be telling you the answers of all these problems. Up to now, up to that time, try to solve these problems. And in the next class, when I'll be telling you the answers, match the answers, because I'll not be there to check your answer sheet. Because it is not possible for me to come to your class, sorry, come to your home. That's why it will not be possible for me to check it. You need to check it on your own. The answers will be told to you in our next session. So you can take screenshot of all these sentences, or you can pause the video and then solve the exercise. Sorry, this was the lecture. We'll meet soon. Thank you. Up to that time, take care. Bye bye.